I just think, maybe God just delivered her out of a place that was going to become really bad for her.
I mean, I always knew that life was going to be hard for her. Her mom certainly didn't do her any favors, and since I had no say in the matter of how she was raised or disciplined or anything, there was nothing I could do about it but sit back and watch the train wreck as it unfolded.
Stephan, I can't help but get the feeling that none of this that was on the phone was a surprise to you.
She was aware that she had certain feelings towards me.
Yeah. Well, then why would she send her in there to sleep with you?
She used to joke about it, call it an electrocomplex. Used to joke and say, you better not leave me for my daughter when she's older, things like that. Laugh about it, and they used to both ogle over me and comment on me and talk about me together and giggle.
So today we're putting on the swamp diving boots and we're diving into the bullshit that is Stephan Stearns, because I don't know if you guys have realized lately, but he's telling this story to his parents that is very, very fictitious, in my opinion, because we all know that Madeline was found, right? But apparently there's this whole backstory to where he wasn't in his right mind. He was deeply influenced and he found her ice cold.
Yes.
Okay. Anyway, just getting back to what I was saying, just faith and trust, and, message received.
I guess if there's one thing that we wish for is that you had come to us sooner, that you had come to us and let us know what was going on.
Well, unfortunately, I was suffering from a bit of cowardice.
Yeah, but
Unfortunately, I was suffering from a bit of cowardice. The fact that he's using the whole word, when's the last time you said that you were suffering from some cowardice? You know what I'm saying? That's pussy terminology right there. He's a bitch. At least he's self-aware about it. Unfortunately, I was suffering from some cowardice. I almost said who raised this boy, but we all know who. We're talking to them right now. Holy shit. No words for it. Let's continue.
Well, hindsight's always 20/20, and can't do anything about it now. But this thing,
it's bigger because of it.
It's a bigger problem because of that, and again, not sure what would be any. I'm sure there would be some things different. If you had chosen that path, because there's obviously nothing we could have done without. Well, there's nothing we could have done. I mean, there was only one choice, but we could have talked our way through this. I mean, the phone call that you made to me earlier in the afternoon, if you had at least shared that, we could have talked our way through that and figured out a much better solution than whatever whatever you guys came up with. Because
now it could have been you guys, but apparently Stephan Stearns is never gonna snitch on Jenn Soto. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? But it's kind of interesting that his dad still was like, nah, I would have coddled you. You killed that girl doing whatever you guys were doing, and you should have called me, and I would have figured something out. We would have lied to the police together. We could have all gone to jail, son. We could have figured something out. Because if you go back, he had the whole school story. I think that's what they're talking about. He dropped her off. She walked into school. Then he had a flat tire, right? He had to go fix his car on the side of the highway. It was a whole bunch of very odd stories, okay? His dad is basically telling him like, son, shit, you should have came to me. We could have come up with a better story. You're not too smart on your own. If you came to me now, we could have figured something out. We could have lied to them a bit better. You understand what I'm saying, son? But, oh well.
None of that was believable. And I was thinking earlier today or yesterday that somehow I feel that you were forced into this, and I don't know, and that's just my speculation, that you were compromised and you were forced to participate in this, and as soon as you gotten away from the rest of them, you should have called me, and we should have and could have discussed this, and the outcome would have been a lot different than what it is right now. But
I don't want to get your hopes up, and as I said, don't get carried away with any conspiracy theories, but in a way I was compromised, and, when all that stuff was happening, I was not in my right mind anymore.
yeah, well, I understand that, and that's when you probably should have just called me and said, hey, I've got a bit of a situation here, and
It would have been a rational thing to do, but at that point I was no longer capable of rational actions or thoughts.
Yep, I understand. Yep,
I'm capable of it. I had no control over my faculties anymore.
No longer capable of rational action or thought. Court, jot that down. You're just giving prosecution ammo, bullet after bullet after bullet, just putting yourself deeper into the grave. Instead of 6 feet, you're 12 at this point. I had no control over my actions. What does that even mean? So that means I could go down to a supermarket and just, light everybody up, right? And when I go to jail, I'm going to just say, oh, I was just overstimulated. I just couldn't even think rationally at that point. It doesn't make any sense. You're just making yourself sound like a dumbass. And that whole situation about him being compromised and he was forced into it, his dad is trying to make it sound like this was a big, buff, 7-foot woman who weighed 300 pounds on him or something like that. He had a choice. How big is Jenn Soto? Like 4'9" and on psych meds? She's not, she can't force you to do nothing, bro. So the whole idea is like, oh yeah, they forced you to do it. They put a knife to your throat and made you drive around with a dead body. That makes zero fucking sense. Come on, you can kick Jenn Soto over. You can literally just trip her. And when she falls over, she won't be getting up for the next 30 minutes. So it's not too hard to deal with her. You know what I'm saying? Shit. When's the last time she ever did a crunch? Probably in 2009. Let's continue.
Or it's like the motor was running, but there was a screaming chimpanzee behind the wheel.
Yeah.
I understand that. I don't understand lack of emotion.
Yeah, I don't know.
It wasn't like she was catatonic. She was talking in a normal voice. The only thing that showed any emotion at all was jiggling her leg, but she did that anyway. So
Yeah,
yeah, she was anxious because she was lying to her teeth.
You see how he protects her? Yeah, well, it's just an anxious thing. Man, I'd smack the fuck out of him just for existing, bro. I don't know, bro. I don't know how his parents were able to exist around him. That only tells me one thing. They're some pussy-ass individuals themselves. That's the only way they could stand to be around this complete piece of fucking shit. This is what you call scum of the earth. Because this is not like, at least Wade Wilson was a moron. Stephan Stearns, he's not the brightest individual on the planet, but it's not like he's not a feral animal. He can use his brain. He has a nice little vocabulary there, all of that. He should have known better.
That's okay.
Don't get your hopes up for any conspiracy theories or vast conspiracies. Just understand that anything I did was not done while being within my rational mind. I had snapped at that point. And I wish I had done the correct thing to begin with. I wish I had run downstairs and shaken her awake and called 911 and all that. And deserved a lot.
I wish you had too. I wish you had too. Maybe she could have been saved, but
she was beyond that.
Okay.
When someone's that ice cold and just gone.
She was in a different part of the house?
Yeah.
She wasn't with you?
Well, she had gone to be with me earlier in the night, but I left her alone for quite a while I was sort of just walking around and, haunting around the house like I do. Sometimes I go out for walks at night, or I just...
Well, every time he says like I do, he's lying. I was just hawking around the house, just walking around the house like I do. Such a fucking liar. And his dad's tell for knowing or for telling him that he's a liar is always, Like, I don't fucking believe that, right, son? Bro, this is the only case where I feel like disownership is the best course of action. Never talk to the weird piece of fucking shit that you spawned into this world again. And just thank the Lord that you can't have babies no more, because that would be a hell of a fucking problem for us.
On the couch and just fiddle around on my phone, or just, I don't sleep well at night, especially when I've got to be up early and do something the next day.
Yeah.
And that was the case. So every time I realized anything was wrong, it was
She was in a different part of the house when you found that out?
She was still upstairs.
Oh, she was upstairs. Okay.
Yeah, I left her alone there.
Oh, okay.
I had gone downstairs for a while, and every time I realized anything was wrong, it was just far too late. She'd been gone for a while.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just seeing her pale face and blue lips and how ice cold she was, and it's created.
That's going to stay with you. Yeah, that's...
Yeah, I remember seeing my brother when he had passed away, and that's the last thing I remember seeing of him. And so.
Yeah, it's just, you can tell.
Yes, you can. My dad, yeah.
What the fuck are they talking about, bro? What the fuck? Now we're over here having a show and tell comparison about how dead people look. You know what's different? Mrs. Stearns is probably... that family member ran his course a little bit longer. He probably wasn't 13. She's like, oh, yeah, exactly. You can tell. Yeah, for example, my brother, like, oh, my God, please shut the fuck up. We're literally comparing dead people like, oh, yeah, her lips were really blue. All these people, you guys don't know because it's subtle. You guys probably might not notice it because it's subtle. Maybe it's not that subtle. All these people, these 3 people, are fucking wackos. None of them are normal. And I know you guys in the comments, you guys were like, his dad was a police officer, whatever. Not a normal guy. And guess what? Sometimes you get the wrong person on the force, and I think his dad might have been one of them. All these people are fucking creepy. But, the call continues.
It's just, when they're gone, really, really, truly gone, there's nothing you can do. There's no coming back.
Yeah.
No, there isn't.
She was past the point of no return.
Yeah, because you're a medical doctor.
I'll tell you what.
Because he's an MD. Because he spent, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 years in school to know that for sure. Fucking weirdo. So you've done this before? I've seen this many times. Once they're gone, they're just gone. How the fuck do you know that, Stephan?
Given the crazies of the grandmom and already starting to call her a Gordo, she would have been the next one on the list for gastric bypass. But I just think, maybe God just delivered her out of a place that was going to become really bad for her.
I mean, I always knew that life was going to be hard for her.
God delivered her from a place that was going to be really bad for her. Please never, listen, never speak your mind again. Just keep those thoughts to yourself. When they call them inner thoughts? Keep them there. Keep them there. What the fuck? So, life is tough. Let's just delete them completely. Fuck it. You know what? It was going to be too rough anyway, sweetheart. Let's get you up out of here. His mom needs to shut the fuck up and just stop talking. They all need to just end this phone call and shut the fuck up because they all sound like psychos. The fuck is that? Oh, God probably always that God shit. With this, he ain't got nothing to do with this. Shit, there's a lot of the devil going on with this. You need to talk about how he was acting when you killed Madeline. But let's continue. God wanted to deliver her from a... Shut the fuck up.
Her mom certainly didn't do her any favors, and since I had no say in the matter of how she was raised or disciplined or anything, there was nothing I could do about it but sit back and watch the train wreck as it unfolded.
Yeah, and she's trying to tell everybody that she was a little angel and she had no problems with her, and you were already telling us that they were butting heads like two Rocky Mountain rams.
Yeah, they had gotten physical on a couple of occasions.
Yeah, I figured they did that again. But okay.
I often played mediator between the two of them because I was the only one that could talk either of them down when they started going at it with each other.
Yeah, I know.
Where were the roommates when all this is going on?
Upstairs, doing their own things.
Was all that screaming and yelling and crap going on?
Yeah,
I'm surprised they stayed.
Honestly, it wasn't that far out of place in that house. Was often given to yelling or loud crying or outbursts, and was given to yelling and screaming and coming down on people. It was happening a lot more and more often, which is why I kept trying to tell you, I think maybe your meds are becoming less effective. It seems like you're becoming more erratic and more unstable. It seemed like the more stable I became, the more unstable she became, like we switched places.
I love how his mom grasps and looks for any shred of innocence in her son. It's so sad. She does anything she can. She was like, yeah, well, I assume she got physical that last time. When Madeline died, she probably ran up the stairs and just choked her out. Like, what the fuck? Now, she obviously didn't say that, but that's what it feels like she's saying. That doesn't make any sense. You're grasping on to bullshit because you can't see past the fact that this is your son. If this was anybody else on the news, because she sounds like a judgmental bitch, I'm not going to lie to you. If she saw anything else on the news, she probably would be talking shit like, oh, that's horrible. How could they even let their son do that? Oh, I would disown my son. That's so terrible. Then when it's her son, oh, it's everybody else's fault. Listen, Jenn Soto's a piece of shit mom. Everybody knows that. But Stephan Stearns was driving the dead girl. You see the difference?
Well, I always told you she was a black hole to need. Well, there's nothing to do about it now, but what I hate the worst is that she's sitting in a hospital having 3 meals a day, clean sheets, television, access to phone, reading, walking around free, taking a shower by herself, and you're sitting where you are.
I guarantee her food's probably a lot better than mine.
Her voice pisses me off.
Oh, I
Shut the fuck up.
guarantee there's a lot of stuff that's better than yours.
Well, it'll all come out in the wash.
Yeah, well,
Hopefully.
a very, 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 very slim chance of doing anything about any of this, and I'm praying to God and asking for His help to make it possible. But
well, how about giving up the chivalrous part and lay some truthisms on?
what's that?
I said, quit being so chivalrous and protective of. Start laying some truth bombs on her. There's truth bombs there.
Maybe none as groundbreaking or bombastic as you might hope for, but there are some truths there. So.
Maybe not as bombastic as you're hoping for. I know he got beat up in school. Did he go to school? Did Stephan Stearns go? He sounds like a homeschool kind of kid. I think he went to school, I think. They probably beat him the fuck up in school. Not as bombastic as you would hope, man. Boom, elbow in the face. Man, they probably fucked this little kid up. You know that whole situation where he got ran over by a truck? His fault. I'm assuming. I don't know. Okay, alleged. I'm pretty sure that shit was his fault. Everything around Stephan Stearns seems like it's a lie. I bet you him getting ran over by that bitch ass truck was his fault. But you know, it's just everything he does is a lie, bro. Let's continue.
Some ugly truths and some not so pretty truths, but you know, I guess I reacted to everything the way I did because I wanted to shield her. I wanted to keep her from getting any blowback from him, but
You shouldn't have. You shouldn't have, because that left him only one person to lay everything on, and that was you.
yep. And you know, I should have just done the correct thing from the get-go and let the chips fall where they may. But I couldn't stand the idea of losing them both horribly like that. And I lost them both anyway, so it was pointless.
Yeah.
I was just in so much agony and so much pain, so much shock and so much trauma. My mind was just not, it wasn't me anymore. I wasn't in control of myself anymore. I was doing things that I wouldn't do. I wasn't acting or thinking rationally. It was just panic and fear and...
Yeah, I can't imagine.
You know, Stephan, I can't help but get the feeling that none of this that was on the phone was a surprise to you.
She was aware that I had certain feelings towards me.
What?
Yeah. Well, then why would she send her in there to sleep with you?
She used to joke about it, you know, call it an electrocomplex. Used to joke and say, you know, you better not leave me for my daughter when she's older, things like that.
What a sick fuck. Now, listen, trust me. So he's just confirming things we knew already. He's just confirming shit we already knew. So Jennifer did know. I mean, according to him, everything he says you have to take with a boulder of salt because this is a liar. But, you know, liars use forms of the truth to make their lie sound more, you know, believable. You're going to leave me for my daughter one day? I believe she said that because why would she? Because she said the same thing about Woody Allen or some stupid shit with the detective before. So I believe she very well said, Stephan, you would leave me for my daughter, huh? No, I think she saw that you had a thing for her daughter. Madeline's 13. I don't give a fuck what type of feeling she has to anybody who's an adult. You're 13. Madeline. But no. It's Madeline's issue. No, Madeline had the feelings for him. On a recorded jail line, they're saying this shit. Foul human beings.
Laugh about it, and they used to both ogle over me and comment on me and talk about me together and giggle and talk about how nice I looked. And it was...
What?
It was not an appropriate situation.
My boy, you're disgusting. You nasty, flabby piece of shit. They would oogle about me? What? Oh my God. That I don't believe. She said they weren't even having sex because Stephan couldn't get his dick hard. So, I don't know. Listen.
No, it wasn't.
And, you know, always had an issue with boundaries. She never respected any boundaries that I tried to set. You know, we got in arguments on more than one occasion about the sleeping arrangements, so I, you know, would beg her, you know, please make her go sleep in her own room. And she said, no, it's easier this way for me to wake her up when she's near me. And, you know, it's like we didn't have any privacy, and, you know, just didn't have any space to ourselves. And she would suggest, well, maybe you should go sleep in bed instead. And it's like, you know, it's like a twin bed, and I'm, you know, 6+ feet, and no, why would I want to do that instead of sleeping in our king-size bed, you know? I should have broken up with her a long time ago and just distanced myself.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
Should have, would have, could have. Hindsight's always 20/20.
Yeah, it seems to be my superpower. Useless superpower. Captain Hindsight.
Well, you know, you certainly didn't appreciate it when I told you that.
No, I certainly didn't. You know, typical, kid trying to make their own way or have their own ideas and realizing only too late, how...
Bro, kid trying to make his own way? You were 37 or some shit at the time. What the fuck do you mean kid trying to make his own way? You fucking grown man. You ancient dinosaur. The fuck are you talking about? Kid I'm just trying to find my own way, trying to have my own ideas. Bitch, you're 40. The fuck what are you talking about? People in their 40s don't even have their parents anymore sometimes. Like, what? Imagine this little piece of fucking shit didn't have his mommy and his daddy. He would die of starvation. I don't think he wouldn't be able to take care of himself. He would start shitting himself because there's no one to change his pants. You know what I mean? Kid trying to find his own way. Bitch, you're 37 or 40, whatever the age was when he was, man, what?
Valuable their parents' advice really was.
Yep. Well, this is a shit show that rivals a pigsty.
Yeah, this is not something that you recover from.
None of us will ever recover from this. Ever.
1 minute remaining.
It's not recoverable. Okay, you got your 1 minute warning, and they're probably not going to give you a fourth run at this.
Yeah, someone's screaming in the background right now, too.
Okay, honey, I hear them. So, you going to try to call back tomorrow?
Yeah, I'll see if I can call back in the next couple of days. I've probably got about $18, $19 left on the phone account, and I've got like 17 cents left in the commissary account.
We'll try to do something about that.
Okay.
When do you need to have the commissary replenished?
What?
When do you need to have the commissary replenished?
Whenever you're able to, I guess. I did get a pad of paper, though.
Nice.
You think of what?
He got a pad of paper.
Oh, okay.
I love you guys, and I'll talk to you in the next couple of days.
All right.
Okay, we love you too, honey. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, bro can't help himself. Absolutely can't help himself, and he can't help but show off how much Madeline was into him. Like, yeah, mom, she was. It really wasn't appropriate. Like, honestly, mom, like, it wasn't appropriate, but they just loved me, like her and her daughter. Oh my God, he can't help himself. And as we go through these calls, he's gonna continue to do weird shit like that. And it's so weird, bro. You're talking to your parents like this about this little girl. Shit, couldn't be my parents. But anyways, I love you guys, man. I'll see you soon. Stay inside, stay safe. I'm out here. Peace.